Hello, tested tubers, and welcome back. Let's play Shining Force 3 with me, BlueAnkylo. So I'm not actually finished the grind phase yet. I just wanted to put a short little clip here at the beginning to show that I've done it with the main crew. I decided level 16 was as high as we're gonna go. I would recommend stopping at 15. It slows down fighting that third room I was talking about from last episode. It slows down at 15 significantly. 16, if you fight Cerberus, isn't too bad. Grace, of course, can go longer. I'll talk about everyone more once I get finished. I've been going through the B team, and the good news is, Penn, I made it! He's ready to promote. I've been doing my due diligence. I got him all the way to level 17, because I don't know why, I'm ridiculous. He only died once, when he was level 1, and got one shot by a skeleton, but basically, I've just had him fighting skeletons for a long, long time. He never learns any magic. He levels up his beak eventually, and I never made him any friends. He does not have a single friend, and that's pretty much it. The way he's been able to kill stuff is I've given him a power ring, which gives him pre-promotion the best stats that I could find. 5 attack and defense is pretty solid, and there's not much better than that post-promotion. And the real trick, of course, was Mascarin, who... She might not have had this the last time you guys saw her. I think she got this at level... I can actually check here in just a second. Just so you guys, if you're following along. Characters... And Synbios... No, not Synbios. Mascarin. She learns the attack spell... Oh, at level 16. Wow, I'm lucky I got her all the way that far then. So once she gets level 16, she can use the attack spell. Now, I know... Somebody had the ability to cast this. I think Noon has the wand that can cast this. The problem is he doesn't regenerate MP like Mascarin does. So Mascarin was able to sit there, cast attack, let her MP recharge, and just repeat ad nauseum. And then Penn, at least with attack on him all the time, could do a bit of damage. Grace could cast support on him to keep his defense up, and then he wouldn't die in one hit. Anyway, the real thing is, let's see the final promotion for Scenario 1. I didn't show you guys cons, but don't worry about it. I'll show you guys what he looks like once we come back, once we're done. So, a penguin becomes the champion. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but here you go. The final promotion for my penguin. Well, actually, it's not, technically. Now, I believe technically, level 20 promoted is the cutoff for, or like you can keep going past 20, but I think that's when you can promote again, just not in scenario 1. The real reason I've been keeping Grace on for longer is I wanted that aura level 3. Support 2, doesn't really matter, antidote 2, heal 4, no big deal, but aura level 3 will heal a lot, well, a bit more, I don't know, more HP anyway. So when we're fighting those optional bosses and the final boss, I figured having Aura 3 might not be a bad idea for healing the whole group if we get nailed by Bolt really badly, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. Anyway, I've got some more leveling up to do. Penn is, his top shell fell off, so that's something. Unfortunately, he still can't equip weapons. The big problem here is he doesn't get any mithril weapons. So his attack is still pitiful. Like, when I was leveling up Justin and Khan, I just made them a Mithril Cestus and a Mithril Quarrel, and they were fine. So, yeah, this is gonna take a while. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that everything's coming along. I'll be back for the final party recap and the optional hero test final boss in, well, I'll probably spend a few more hours. I don't know. It takes a while. I'm sure you guys will be back in a second, though, so see you in a sec. And welcome back, folks. So, just like that, a bunch of grinding has been done. I did most of it off camera. Well, I did all of it off camera. I did most of it in the course of an evening while I was listening to some comfy music on the side. So, first off, overview. Everyone is around level 16, promoted. The only people who are not level 16 are Mascarin, who accidentally got 1 level up as she was supporting Penn, basically, with attack. And Grace, who went all the way to level 23 so that I could learn a new spell. Really, that's all. I'll talk about the new spells in a minute. I've given, let's see, so what else is basic? Easy stuff. Not a lot of new friendships. I did randomly get a friendship between, or another soulmate. So this time it was Mascarin and Noon. So I don't even remember, I wasn't aiming for it or anything, but this is one of the ones I was hoping for. They can give each other a high magic boost now from 2 squares away. So I only got 2 soulmates for the entire scenario 1. One thing I did learn while I was doing the heroes test for level grinding is it's very difficult to get friendship points because the enemies are quite weak, so we generally kill them in one shot. And that makes it hard to get friends. So let's see, have we changed? What else is different? Well, let's go through the stats briefly. You can see kind of on the high end with a good mithril or better weapon, we're hitting around 90 attack. Keeping in mind that I do have accessories, so we've got plus 10 defense from white rings, and Artemis pins are plus 5 defense, Apollo pins are plus 5 offense. But we're hitting around 90 for our strong attackers. We're hitting kind of mid-50s for most people on defense, depending on who you are, if you're made of brittle bones that are hollow. Ninjas, also fairly weak defensively. Interestingly enough, Hagane turned out... Wow, this is with the Wind Shuriken. They're pretty equivalent. It's a matter of which one spells you like more, really. Hagane has the Power Ring, which gives him 5 attack. So he gets 5 attack, 5 defense from that. Murasame gets 5 defense and 10 crit from the Dark Helmet. So it sort of balances out pretty close. Frank with his Mithril Claws. I wasn't hugely impressed with him. For a pure attacker, he only hit 80 attack, which is not great. Ratchet, similarly, a little bit weak here at the end. Ken was, honestly, this guy is a waste of your time. So again, the Power Ring is plus 5, and his stats are just horrible. If he could use a Mithril Beak of some sort, just rip it off and put a new beak on him, he'd be okay, but you can't. And he only has 5 movement promoted, he doesn't get any kind of flying or anything, so, he seems pretty bad. The only thing you could possibly convince me of is plus luck for support is okay. But for him, not good enough. So you can see Horst, pretty strong, 83, 54, I think. Anyone who I recruited pre-promoted got to level 17 before promotion is definitely a small step up. Hayward, 88, 51 compared to Justin. You know, he definitely has overall better stats, and I think that's pretty much straightforward. They have more levels, and the ones that come pre-promoted in their advanced class, they just don't have those bonus stats. Other than that, I mean, that's the basic overview for stuff. What's changed specifically? Okay, let's start at the top, and I'll go through some stuff, because there's a few things I want to talk about. Nothing new for Synbios. Now, level-wise, level 16 is about as high as you're going to get from the places I was level grinding. I don't recommend going any further than that. Technically, Synbios gets Spark level 4 at level 20. But I do not think that's a good idea trying to get to level 20. It will take you, well, you'll be getting 1 XP per kill, guaranteed. So it's a lot like the end of Shining Force 2. There's some spells that you're just probably not going to get unless, I don't know what you want to do, grind on the final boss. Sounds kind of silly. We've got Don Therese. Nothing really new with Don Therese. Pretty solid. Mascarin. So I'm just going to go over like the new spells with people just in case you're playing along. I think we left off around level 11 to 15 with everybody. So she picked up Blaze level 4 at level 11. That was pretty good. That's a really solid spell, no problem about it. Level 11 is, you know, the end of the game, but at least you could get that for the last few fights. At level 13, she got Spark 3, which is the higher damage expensive one. And at level 16, she got Attack level 1, which it seems to boost your attack power by around 20%, which is okay, but it's only single target. I think Noon can cast this AoE with his wand, although I should double check that when we get to him. If we continue to level her up, level 19 is Spark 4, and level 23 is Attack level 2, but you're not going to get that, so don't really bother. Grace, so this was the one that I specifically put time in to make sure I got all the way to the highest level. At least with the healers, it's not too difficult. You just gotta keep healing, and she regens her MP, so the fact that she can equip, well, I guess either Mascarin or Grace would get this tiara, but this is like the best accessory in the game, hands down. Really good defense boost, luck is okay, and regenerating MP is the best. So, you just regen MP and heal. As long as you've got the time, you can't miss it. So, you probably saw heal level 4. That was level 12. And then level 14 was when we finally made it to Aura level 2. So that did take quite a long time to get the large Aura. She already had the Ankh that could do it, though, so that wasn't a big deal. And then level 18 was Aura level 3, which I showed you guys when I promoted Pen. You know, it's probably not very MP efficient, but if you needed to do a little bit more healing, you know, spend 15 to heal a little bit more. It's still the large AoE, so that's fine. And then level 23 at long last, Aura level 4, which for 18 MP, less than heal, heals everyone on the force to max, as far as I remember. So I figure if we're going to fight the optional boss that does a lot of magic damage, I wanted this. She'll be able to equip her Ankh for resistance, so we can give level 2 resist, and then we'll have level 4 Aura. And I figure, hey, that's about as good as it's going to get. Then we got Hayward, nothing really special with Hayward. We got Obright again. I kept his axe, his heat axe, although I almost never use it. With the running ring, he can get around a lot quicker, and he's actually pretty darn strong with one of the highest... I think he might be tied for the highest attack power on the Force or something, so no problem. Obright's my man. And then we've got Irene. Well, so I made her the Spark Glove earlier. That's one of the very few gloves that has a B rank in Magic. It's still not A like the good Ankhs and Rods and stuff. So she has the ability to use Spark level 2 if I use this glove. I don't know why I kept the pretty glove. Probably something. I don't understand it. Probably no good reason. And then I leveled her up enough to get most of her spells. Unfortunately, and this is actually a big shame, a serious downside is you don't get Tornado level 4 until level 19, which is above the usual possibility, unless you just do healing grinding, which, you know, I don't want to keep going. And Tornado 4 does less damage than Blaze 4, so I really felt like she should have picked that up by now, by level 16 at the latest. Probably level 13 or 12, honestly. So I thought that was kind of a weak point. I think we picked up Resist. Yeah, Resist level 2 was level 12, and Heal level 4 was level 15. But, you know, she doesn't really have enough MP to use Heal 4, and Heal 4 is kind of terrible anyway. So Irene is still a fairly weak character. You know, her offense is okay, 80 is fine, it's not... It's at the low end of good. And her defense is actually... well, she's got plus 10 from the ring. So her defense would be in the high 40s, which is... well, it's about mage level. It's pretty weak, you know, compared to some of the characters. Anyway, gotta keep going here. Sybil, nothing terribly special with her. She ended up a little bit weaker than Danterez. 87-54. Now she gets plus 5 defense from the Artemis pin, and Danterez gets plus 5 from the life ring, so they're pretty even on those sort of stats. But she ended up a fair bit behind on attack power. At least her... oh, wait, she's not equipped. Okay, part of the problem there is she's using her spear. I should have made sure everyone had sort of similar tier weapons equipped. There you go, that puts her right up there with Danterez, so she's, there you go, basically the same, awesome. So don't worry about it. Danterez 87 with Gungnir, and Sybil 87 with Arc Halberd. Perfect, no problem then. So Eldar, you guys are all familiar with Eldar, she's amazing these days. High attack, surprisingly good defense with the Artemis pin, and some really nice special abilities like the draining HP attack. So she turned into a powerhouse. Took a while, but she got there. Okay, so now for some new characters. So Khan, I made him the Mist Cestus, one of the mithril weapons. This one specifically is the only Cestus in the game that gives you a magic boost. Now, if you look at his spells, it only affects his healing. But if I unequipped the Mist Cestus and went with a different type, he would lose, I think, around 8 power for his heal, which is kind of a bad idea. So I thought I should go with that at least. It's got a special attack, Mirage Fist. Maybe we'll get a chance to see that. So let's see, when did he learn his spells, in case you're really wanting to use Khan. So he should have learned in promoted class, support at level 2, heal 3 at 6, slow level 1 at 8, support level 2 at 11, heal level 4 at 14. And I think if maybe the guide was wrong there, actually. The support level 2 must have been at 11. There's a slow level 2 that I think he learns at 18. The guide typoed. But slow, I've talked about it before. I'm not a huge fan. It's not that good. Support is okay. It's fairly good. And heal is acceptable. He doesn't get aura. He doesn't get hardly any MP. The big weakness here is his MP. And his weapon types, like the gloves, cestus, and claws are all probably the weakest weapons in general. Maybe the anchors and the beaks and stuff can compare. But as far as like the normal weapons, that class, the glove type weapons, they're just not very good. So, I leveled him up. He's not terrible by any stretch. He's not much. I mean, his attack power is really good. The thing is, he's supposed to be a healer. I guess, if you're going to use him on the front lines, he's got a little bit low defense, really good attack power, but only sort of average support magic. It's kind of a fighter healer with a little bit weak defense. We've got Noon, who I specifically, the reason everyone's at level 16 was because of Noon. I wanted to get that freeze level 4. So it's a range 3, 68. So if you're going to do single target damage now, freeze 4, definitely better than Wendigo 1. Same MP, longer range, way more damage. Wendigo 2 still technically does a little bit more damage, but it's much less valuable now that we've got freeze 4. Other than that, there's nothing else. I know he'll get Soul Steel level 2, but that will wait until, let me look it up exactly, level 20. So again, I don't know how you could possibly level grind him up to there, but if you really wanted Soul Steel level 2, try to get him to level 20. It's not going to happen at this point in the game, as far as I can see. So I gave Justin the Flame Quarrel, which is one of the mithril weapons. It's got a special attack. It does Holy or Demon Elemental. I tried to give lots of elemental weapons. His stats are okay. Again, for a range unit, it's probably fine. Lower defense should be okay because he's a little bit safer, and the average attack is okay. I don't like his movement. I think Bow Knight should have at least 6 move, if not 7, but whatever, it's fine. Forrest, you guys have seen plenty. He turned out a bit weaker than Obright, but he's fine. I think these guys are worth it just for their support bonus anyway, so they're a good idea to bring on the team. Pen, well, there's not much to say about Pen. If he could equip a weapon, his attack would probably be fine. But he can't upgrade his weapon, so it's always weak. His defense turned out, it took a while, but he did get a pretty good defense. His HP is weak, it's kind of like the monsters from Shining Force 2, the Kiwi. Except that he doesn't get flying, he doesn't get any special attacks other than sort of normal special attacks. And everyone gets those sorts of things. His magic resistance are, I mean, you can see, nothing special really. Fire and light. So that's Pen. We've seen Ratchet before. I did get everyone's weapons to level 3 if that's not obvious. I definitely noticed the -5s, -10s, now that I pay more attention to stuff like that. Frank, yeah, we leveled Frank up. So I gave him the Mithril Claw. That was actually the one we could have bought at the shop earlier. It's pretty good. I think it does holy elemental damage. So it's not hard to get him his Mithril weapon at all. You can just buy it early on. He's got -10 to fire, which is a little bit dangerous. A lot of enemies have fire magic. And Honestly, I thought his defense and attack were kind of weak. And his support bonus is pretty weak as well. I think he's another victim of poor weapons. Claws they don't give enough attack damage. I think another weapon type would have plus 5 to 10 damage on it. Just base damage, and then he'd be doing awesome because he'd be offensive. You know, you'd think a werewolf, wolf baron with claws would be kind of like a berserker, right? Like really high attack, low defense. It doesn't really work out, unfortunately. So then we got Hagane. I think, you know, boosting people's attack is cool. It's nothing wrong. I think sleep is pretty weak unless you really can boost your luck. And I think Soul Steal is kind of, at least level 1 isn't really worth it. You can see his stats. He's got one of the lower attack stats. I guess with the Spark Shuriken. Oh, I gave him 2 different katanas and shurikens, unlike Murasame. I wanted to have a different kind. Just to show some different types of weapons. So yeah, he's got the Spark Shuriken, which is bolt resistance and a special lightning attack, and the Bone Eater, which is whatever. It's kind of cool. I figured, I think it was the first one I got that wasn't the same as Murasame, so I just want to show off different weapons and different specials. So yeah, Hagane has, I would say, weaker spells. I like resistance a lot. Slow always works, at least. And Blaze is a reasonably good, cheap damage for range if you need fire damage. Hagane has Sleep, which hardly ever works. It's very difficult to set up. Soul Steal, which also won't work very often and will do mild damage for more MP than Blaze. And then the attack spell, which is nice, but you can only single target it, and at least resistance is, I don't know, I think resistance has more uses. But otherwise, you know, they're very similar, of course. As far as spells go, Hagane should have a couple more upgrades if you wanted to somehow level him up. Let's see, level 17, so he will actually get Soul Steal 2 earlier than Noon. One more level up if you can pull it off, and he gets the AoE Soul Steal, which maybe is worth it. You'd need to save like a lucky cookie, and then give this guy an Apollo pin, and that would get him to 8 luck, and then maybe make friends with, what's her name, Grace, and then that's up to 10, and then he can Soul Steal everybody, but that's a lot of work, so I didn't want to do it. And then level 22 is attack level 2, which is good, because that's the AoE attack spell, but that's just too high a level. So Murasame similarly has some more spells. Level 17, he'll get the next Blaze, which is fine, you know, a little bit more damage on his Blaze is good. These guys don't have a ton of MP, they're kind of like the monks. It's like they're, instead of fighter healers, they're fighter mages, you know. Yeah, you know, Blaze is okay. Blaze 3 was 17. Resistance level 2 is 19, and then Blaze 4 is 21. Blaze 4 would be pretty great, but it's difficult. Oh, he's actually, so his attack power, yeah, I was showing 65. Let's show how it compares properly with a strong weapon. Just so I can give a better comparison between these two guys. I guess Murasame's offense never really went up that much. I was hoping for a little bit more out of his stats, actually. So it does look like Hagane edges him out on attack power. Well, no, it's actually exactly the same. Power Ring is plus 5 attack, so they would be identical. So not much to worry about there. Almost stat-wise, exactly the same. So it's just a matter of what spells you like, really. Or do you want a cowled ninja, or a... You know, he looks almost more like a samurai, to be honest. Anyway, finally, we've got Finding. I gave him a shiny rapier that regenerates HP, because that's kind of important. For a strategy for the final boss. No magic or anything special. How does he compare to Eldar? I think Eldar's a little bit stronger. I may have used, like, also, the other characters that joined earlier got some stat-boosting items. I forget exactly who got what, so factor that into your comparison. Some people got Power Wine for attack and stuff like that. I know Eldar got pumped up a bit. So 83, 43 compared to 86, 59. I think unless I gave like 5 Protect Milks to Eldar, she just has way more defense, and that's pretty good. Like, 59 defense is about as high as it gets. Like, honestly, Grace beats it. She's got a high defense tiara, accessory, and Synbios beats it with plus 10 defense from his ring. So, Eldar surprisingly sturdy now. Anyway, I'm gonna do this off camera, but I am gonna take a few items with me to the final battle, at least. Basically, when you finish Shining Force 3 Scenario 1 and you carry your save over, nothing in the depot here is carried over. Only items in your character's inventory. So if you want to bring stuff like this, even if we don't use it, you want to bring it on someone's inventory, and then that way it carries forward to a future scenario. Kind of like how Julian had to hold stuff to carry it over. I mean, maybe, if he lives somehow. He's probably dead, though. Mithril and Dark Matter doesn't really matter. I wouldn't worry about holding on to those. I've only got 1 Brave Apple, so it's not like I can teach anyone a bunch of spells. And then, like, the maps don't do anything. But I'll do the inventory management off camera. The last thing I wanted to show off before we leave is, I forgot one thing in town. It's, there's actually a couple new haggles here. I don't know if I can't even remember if there's anything good. Let me just look it up quick. So, the weapon shop in Mallory... Oh, they're really not that good. In fact, there's stuff we've already bought before. Let's see if I can get these quick. Just to show that you can get stuff from the haggling still at the last shop in the game, basically. Alright, so... That's a giant cestus, only useful for Khan right now. I mean, anyone of the monk or werewolf classes could equip it and learn up Cestus eventually, but Cestus is probably the worst of the 3, and they're all pretty bad. This one has no magic boost at all, so if you want to cast Heal or Tornado or anything, it doesn't help you, so that's kind of a disappointment. And there should be one more. Casually shopping. I'll show you the deal section here as well. It's stocked up pretty well. I just prove that all the stuff that we've sold and dropped and didn't buy all just sort of gets piled up here. Okay, the last one. It's the Magnum Shell. So we bought that for... I think we bought that one for Ratchet before. So you could buy it at the last town if you didn't have any Mithril. So there's a lot of options if you don't pick up all your Mithril to get Mithril weapons. It's not quite the full selection, but you can get most of the stuff. So, I think there was also a new deal here. Or maybe not. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Sometimes there's also deals they sneak in. But, you know, you can see all the stuff we've sold. If we wanted another Sleep Wand, we could pick it up. An old Mithril Knife, the Counter Sword, Shiva Sword. A lot of these are just Mithril weapons. Might be all 3 Mithril Blades, for all I know. Tomahawks, Revenge Mace. I didn't actually buy this Mithril Claw. I actually used Mithril to forge Frank's weapon, because I felt like that was more realistic. Giant Cestus, Mithril Quarrels, you know, all the stuff. Anyway, that pretty much covers that. So, I think that's it. There was one other thing I was going to mention, but it eludes me. I was just thinking about it when I was looking in there, and then I totally forgot. In regards to using items for leveling up Pen specifically. I know I'd mentioned earlier that you could use the Evil Rings Bolt effect, or there's a couple rings that have use items, use magic, rather than the equipped. Like, there's weapons you can equip that teach you spells that you have to use MP. There's weapons that you can use as an item to cast magic that doesn't cost MP. And there's also accessories that can be used, like the Albusum Orb was, but also the Evil Ring. The problem was, I actually was incorrect. Actually, I guess I must have sold them because I was so upset. But the bolt effect from the Evil Rings, you have to equip it to use it. You can't just hold it in your inventory and get the free bolt. I think weapons you can, actually, like the Heat Axe or the Spark Gloves. I'm pretty sure... I think if they're in your inventory, I'm pretty sure I've done that before. You just use them from your inventory and you can get the free spell until the item breaks. Unfortunately, the rings must be equipped, and if it's a cursed ring, that means you're stuck being cursed, which sucks. Okay, that was the last thing I wanted to cover. Everything else is done. I'm gonna rearrange. I guess I'll probably should just end the episode. Nah, it's a short fight. We'll do a longer episode. I'm gonna reorganize my party to back to the A team, do a little bit of inventory management, and then I'll meet you guys back. I'll fight through the first 3 floors, and I'll meet you back for the final section of the Heroes test, the one that's actually difficult, because that optional boss is not a pushover. So, see you guys there in just a sec.